Sorry for the weird camera angle. This is kind of one of those impromptu things. So, I wanted to film the raffle that happened at Sector 9's Operation Blackburn 2. But what happened there kind of blew me away. The fact of they basically, before they even started the raffle, they basically talked about a guy who, they basically talked about me and how much I had helped the field, how much positivity I brought to it, and kind of a lot of stuff that happened there. And I legitimately got a little emotional, and I hugged the two guys of BB Assassins, Little Bit and Stronghand. And this does legitimately kind of tie into something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I touched on it a little bit in the Trifecta podcast long ago. I guess I kind of want to start out by saying my name's Alex and I am autistic. To those who are going to wonder exactly where I am autistically on the level, on the spectrum, I am high-functioning autistic, but officially I have the mind of a 14-year-old child. I am optimistic, like a preteen, basically. I've got that optimism. It's never left me. I'm positive most of the time. I do get emotional, yes, but this is where I kind of want to talk into some dark stuff. The emotional aspects of it. Emotionally, I'm not usually quick to be angry. I mean, yeah, sure, if you've watched my anger reviews, you know that, yes, I do play up the anger a bit. I do try to do it for a bit, for a character, or I generally do not like something I've reviewed. But the big thing, though, is that, especially from junior high to high school, and even recently in my life, being 30 years old, I have had to tackle with some pretty dark thoughts. Actual depressing thoughts, actual existential crisis, even the thoughts of honest-to-God death. But let's back up a little bit to how that all started. The reason I am like I am, especially emotionally stunted, has been because of junior high and high school. I was bullied, I was ostracized a bit, I was basically that person who didn't know that I was being made fun of. I didn't know I was basically seen as nothing, more or less, just not even a person. At the time, I didn't know about it and I didn't understand it. It wasn't until my last year of high school I started realizing it, and I started going down some pretty dark aspects. I basically shut myself out from reality. I dived myself into games that I liked. I literally just, I didn't want to be in the real world. I wanted to be in the worlds that actually I felt like I belonged to something. It wasn't until after college that I felt just, I had no place. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I just didn't really have anything there. And then, of course, I discovered YouTube. And through YouTube, I discovered Airsoft, ironically enough, through Level Cap Gaming's Airsoft videos. And in a weird way, that actually gave me a community. I genuinely just fell in love with Airsoft. I fell in love with the aspect of it because I joke about it because, you know, I've got gun autism, but genuinely speaking, I love Airsoft because I get to mess with stuff that genuinely I do love. I do love just breaking stuff apart, putting it back together. Even back when I had Zoid models, even with my Gundam models, well, my one Gundam model that I have back here, I love taking stuff apart and putting it back together. I love messing with that stuff, but as time went on, I started discovering things, and I'll be honest, there was a point where this does come into play. I met the owner of Op 31 back when it was in Tennessee. The guy, and this is coming back to me now, if you're going to discuss with an autistic person, or at least kind of talk to them, don't act intimidating. Don't act threatening towards them. Because at that point in time, our emotional state reverts back to our most bare bones basic. We're back to that. At that point in time, I had started really, I guess you could say, kind of defining myself as a person. The owner, who shall not be named, just went full hog aggressive. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know what to do at the time. I started crying. I started bawling. I started crying. I tried to keep myself collected, but I just kept crying. Never once did he stop. He just kept going and kept going and kept going. This is my first. This is what almost kind of turned me off from trying out Airsoft. But then I basically pushed through it, and I kept going. And I loved playing it. I loved playing Airsoft because I got to have a lot of fun. I got to actually try and do stuff. However, I wasn't interested in the over tactical stuff. I wanted to kind of build, I guess, just kind of replicate characters I fell in love with. I wanted to kind of replicate the characters I built in, say, like Fallout, or even online shooter games I love playing, like back in the day of Battlefield 3 and 4, or even the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I wanted to kind of try and replicate those loadouts. I wanted to kind of be unique, I guess you could say. But as time went on and Sector 9 kind of closed, I tried my best to kind of keep things going. But through that, I kind of met a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends through the Airsoft community. And then when I found out about Sector 9, that's where, and I'm not saying this to be hyperbole, or even something else, a smart sounding word to try and seem like I'm taking this out of proportion. No, this is all from my perspective as someone with autism. Sector 9 Airsoft and the community around it and the players there legitimately are people I felt like I could belong. And this is something that is relayed to a lot of people with autism or even some sort of mental disability. Now, I can't speak for all of them, but I can speak for myself. I didn't really feel like I belonged anywhere. I tried finding something that made me feel like I belonged somewhere. And when I first discovered Sector 9 and I went to try and make a video about it, talking about it, I messed up. I'm not going to say what I did, but I did say some things that the owner didn't like. And unlike the owner of Op 31, who legitimately made me cry, the owner was cool. He understood I messed up. He understood, I wasn't intentionally trying to do something wrong. He actually talked me down, calmed me down, and we just talked. He didn't make me feel like I didn't belong. He just kind of, and let me know that, you don't say things like that. You don't do that. You don't try to say things like you don't say stuff that I told you about. Just you're all right. You just made an honest mistake. And from there, I kind of realized this isn't going to be like Op 31. This is going to be actually a really cool field. And honestly, it is. I cannot stress how much Sector 9 has actually helped me as a person. How much Sector 9 has actually helped me grow, in a sense, emotionally. And just finding an honest to God good community of players that legitimately is just so down to earth. They're not super tactical, they're not hardcore, they're not trying to start drama. They're just there to have fun and sling plastic. And that's what I wanted in a field. I legitimately wanted a place where I felt like I could belong. And I feel belonged at Sector 9. I feel like I legitimately can have fun. But then the passing of my grandmother happened last year, in 2023. Before Christmas. I was down. I was emotionally not all there. I didn't feel like I could be in the house. I didn't feel like I could be anywhere. I just did not. Emotionally, I wasn't okay. But then I knew there was a game coming up, and I just packed my bags and I just went to Sector 9, and all that confusion, all that just raging storm of emotions just washed away. I felt okay. I felt I had an outlet to constructively and safely work my emotions through. I felt, honest to God, better after I played Airsoft. And even the guys, when I told them, why I was there, they just said, hey, if you ever need a moment to just kind of step off, we completely understand, but we're here for you. And I legitimately just was happy. I was elated. I was so excited to know that I legitimately at least had some sort of support. And the biggest thing, coming back to the community that's there, I love meeting new people. My brother, my mother, many people will tell you I am a social butterfly, and I'll be happy about it. And another incident kind of came about at the Crump Flea Market. Now, I'm not going to go into it, and I'm not going to talk about it as much because, everything is kind of somewhat alright. But there was a bit of thing where I have I have a moment where my brother actually calls of a too friendly mode, where I'm just like a child. I'm really friendly with people. I try to be friends with them way too hard because if they like that interest, then I'm way too friendly with them. I start talking. I start doing things that probably would not be good, or in certain situations, my mouth will run, basically. And that situation kind of happened, and I just had a bit of an emotional, broke down crying again. But the guys at Sector 9 were there. I legitimately went and played Airsoft again, and I felt better. I'm not saying Airsoft is the ultimate therapeutic tool for those with autism or emotional issues, but the community around it is. People who will just listen, people who will talk, people who will just have fun, they'll laugh it off, they'll joke, we'll hit on each other. You can go through my Operation Blackburn 2 video and you can see just how much genuine fun I'm having. Even if I sound tired, even if I feel like, even when my legs were sore, I genuinely had a lot of fun. And the biggest thing is I genuinely love making people smile. I love having fun. And that kind of comes back to what happened at Sector 9. During the raffle, the owner actually called out, about a person who genuinely was, nice, who basically talking about how much I've helped out the field and promoting it, actually being a positive person there, basically being a positive force of sorts. And I was genuinely looking around thinking, oh, cool, who was this person? And then when they called out my name, I swear to God, I felt like a deer in the headlights. Whenever I got emotional, it was always because I was scared. I always cried because I was afraid, and I was scared. I didn't shed tears that day, or that night at the raffle, because the emotion I honestly had not felt in in a long time was pure, honest joy, pure happiness, pure just positivity. And when Sector 9, when the guys there, like I said, I hugged both Little Bit and Stronghand. I hugged them both. I couldn't contain the emotion, and I can't thank them enough. I literally can't. And I mean it. Sector 9 legitimately has done more for me than my therapist did in all my years I was in college. Or even when I was a young child, basically first time diagnosed with autism, and they basically pumped me full of drugs, and literally they pronounced me dead for 5 minutes before bringing me back to life. I'm not saying all this because, I'm trying to hype up Sector 9 as a place for those with autism to come. I'm saying this as someone with autism who has been playing at Sector 9 for probably almost 2 years now, going on maybe 3, and genuinely having fun there. To those who have autism, who enjoy Airsoft, and are in the Tennessee area, the West Tennessee area, the Mississippi-Alabama border area, the near Memphis area, check out Sector 9. I'm not saying, it's for everyone, but give it a try at least. And if you get the same feelings I get anytime I go there, that feeling of actually belonging to somewhere, actually feeling like you aren't a burden, you aren't a waste of space, you are not that retarded kid who got beat up because you were different from everyone else, then please check out Sector 9. Or if to anyone else out there who is also autistic, who's been in my shoes before, and finally found a community where you feel like you belong, sound off in the comments section. I genuinely want to hear your stories, because this has been my story. My autistic Airsoft story. Cheesy, I know, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching and just kind of allowing me to speak therapeutically, I guess, because genuinely this has actually been somewhat therapeutic to me, because I do feel like a lot of weight's been off my shoulders. And actually off my chest, because I kind of have been holding on to these feelings for a while now, and I just wanted to kind of talk about them in a very somewhat just honest, like TED Talk, I guess, style video. But I have nothing else to say outside of the guys at Sector 9, to the owner, to his sons, to Little Bit, to Stronghand, to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for making me feel like I belong somewhere. God damn it, now I'm actually going to cry. Till next time, guys.